Okay, sorry that we were late. We're done in executive session. At a special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia duly called and held on the 21st day of October 2013 at 7:30 PM in the Trustees Room, second floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, and public notices at the time and place of the meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of the village charter, trustee Siri is hereby authorized to preside at this meeting in the absence of the mayor.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas notice of this meeting was given to the board of trustees and the news media as required by law. Now therefore it be resolved that the special meeting of this board of trustees be held at this time and place to consider any business that may come before this board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas members of this board present at this meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees' regular meeting of September 9 and September 23, 2013. Now therefore be it resolved, this board approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the meeting of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Reports?
We have 3 reports tonight. The Fredonia Fire Department report for the month of September. They had a total of 139 calls, of which 103 were rescue and EMS, 21 were false alarms and false calls, and several miscellaneous calls, 4 fires.
We think you received and filed.
Second report is the Justice Report for the month of September 2013. Total fines and parking tickets collected $14,716. There were 93 vehicle and traffic, 34 criminal, 28 village ordinances, 2 civil cases, 10 ABC laws, 2 environmental cases, for a total of 169 cases.
Received and filed.
The final report is the Police Department report for the month of September. There were 833 incidents reported, accidents 14, arrest reports 106, vehicle and traffic 62, and there were 90 parking tickets issued.
Received and filed.
And that's it for reports.
Correspondence.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the M.M. Fenner Hose Company to add the names of Brandon West and Michael Lee to the active rolls.
Be it resolved that the names of Brandon West Fredonia and Michael Lee Fredonia are hereby added to the active rolls of the M.M. Fenner Hose Company effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the D.R. Barker Hose Company to continue the name of Jack Kajawa on the active rolls.
Be it resolved that the name of Jack Kajawa Dunkirk is hereby continued on the active rolls of the D.R. Barker Hose Company effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence was received from Cheryl Tabone, owner of Pump It Up, requesting the use of the village sidewalks and the closing of Day Street and Church Street for a cold turkey 5K run on November 28, 2013.
Be it resolved that the request of Cheryl Tabone is set forth in her letter dated October 1, 2013, is hereby granted to use village sidewalks to hold a cold turkey 5K run November 28, 2013, Thanksgiving morning, beginning at 9 a.m. at Pump It Up, 355 Central Avenue, and continue through the college and back out to Central Avenue and continuing down Central and ending at Church Street. And be it further resolved that Church Street between Temple and Day Street between Main and Church be closed for approximately 1 hour after the walk. And be it further resolved that Pump It Up provide the village with a liability insurance certificate naming the Village of Fredonia as an additional insured in the amount of $1 million. And be it further resolved that the event is subject to the direction of the police department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence was received from Tom Battaglia, Director of the Fredonia Pomfret Recreation Department, requesting that hours and curfew be set for Halloween trick-or-treating in the Village of Fredonia and Town of Pomfret as recommendation for annual Halloween costume parade.
Whereas the hours for trick-or-treating are hereby approved from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. on Thursday, October 31st, 2013, for the Village of Fredonia and Town of Pomfret, and a curfew be set for 8 p.m., and that parents be encouraged to tell their children not to trick-or-treat beyond 8 p.m. Residents are hereby urged to turn porch lights off at 8 p.m., thus signaling further trick-or-treating will not be accepted. And whereas the annual Halloween costume parade is hereby scheduled for Saturday, October 26, 2013, starting at 1 p.m., with a rain date of Monday, October 28, 2013.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I think that would be at 7 o'clock. And lineup would be 6:30 like we normally do on the makeup day.
Correspondence dated October 15, 2013 was received from Joe Pagano, President of the Fredonia Rotaract Club, requesting use of the West Barker Common and certain village sidewalks on Sunday, October 27, 2013 for the Halloween costume run.
Be it resolved that that the request from Joe Pagano, President, Fredonia Rotaract Club, to hold the Halloween costume run is approved for the use of West Barker Common as follows. 1. Use West Barker Common, including the gazebo, with access to power for live music to be provided from 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. 2. Be able to cross Maple, Temple, Barker, and Church Street using sidewalks only between the hours of 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. 3. Trash will be picked up and parks will be left in order. 4. Fredonia Rotaract Club will provide 2 crossing guards at each crossing. 5. Distasteful costumes will not be allowed to participate. 3. Electrical wires for the band will be properly protected to prevent accidents, and be it further resolved that the above use of Barker Common and street crossing is approved on the condition that the walk is restricted to sidewalks only and is subject to the direction of the Fredonia Police Department. And be it further resolved that this resolution is subject to the receipt by the village of a certificate of insurance from the Fredonia Rotaract Club showing the village of Fredonia as an additional insured in the amount of at least $1 million.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This being the time and place of the public portion, if you'd like to address any of your comments, please stand to the village board or the trustees. Anyone in the audience like to make a comment to the village board or trustees? Mike?
Hiring of a code enforcement officer,
Right.
part-time, and I wonder why there's a resolution when the gentleman's already working. And it doesn't say part-time, how many hours is part-time, how long, what's the duration of employment. You know, there's a lot of unanswered questions here. You folks haven't met in weeks. And all of a sudden, we have this resolution comes out of the sky about hiring somebody. Where was the public meeting? Where was the special meeting? Where was any kind of meeting in the public forum where you guys voted on this? I don't think there was one. I've been around and not on vacation. And I just think that, as I've said before, this position doesn't need to be filled. You didn't fill it during construction season. John hasn't been at his desk since April. It's over 6 months later. Construction's all done. The big rush is all done. What are we gonna do now? Count snowflakes or something? Forget it. Save the taxpayers some money and don't fill a position. Because things have been going just fine without it. I just want to go on record again saying I'm against filling this position.
Great, thank you.
How was it filmed, actually? How did we do that? Via phone, computer?
I'm sorry.
How, was it over the phone, computer? How was that done?
How was the interview done?
No, how was he hired, actually?
Rick had called me, and probably the other trustee, I believe the 2 trustees that were doing on the interview, so 3 of
For this
trustees,
resolution.
that's correct.
Right. But
So
we
is
all
that-
knew that we were interviewing, and we all knew that we had discussed that we would fill the position.
Okay, so it was done basically over the phone?
No,
Computer
we
to hire.
interviewed him,
No.
interviewed him in
Because
person.
he's been with us for quite, what, a week or so?
We interviewed him.
We interviewed him in person, 2 trustees.
Right, the
And
personnel committee.
we needed
mayor.
3 to approve the hiring in the emergency that,
But I think that was her
Left.
question, there was no meeting about that.
there was an
There
interview.
never has been.
There was an interview on
To
it.
hire.
Public doesn't go to interviews, Joe.
That's correct.
Yeah. So there was this polling that took place, and there was never any great amount of discussion because that's a personnel matter in any of your meetings. And all of a sudden, we got somebody hired. There was no emergency here, folks.
But, Mike, I just want to say one thing. The public has never been in charge of whether or not the village hires. In no
I'm
position.
not trying to be in charge, it's being apprised of what's going on. And I've been going to meetings for over 10 years, and so it's not like I just started stumbling in the door. And this is a habit with any of these boards. It's by phone or email or whatever, and you come and there's a resolution, I'm thinking, gee, I came to the last 10 meetings. I don't remember anything about that. How did that happen?
But you've been to the workshops, and that's where
Oh,
it
yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Well, there wasn't a heck of a lot going on in the last few workshops.
Great,
I
thank
mean,
you,
I
Mike.
just beg to differ
Yep.
with you.
Anyone next?
I'm done with it.
Anyone next? 1, 2, 3. On to resolutions.
Okay, I'm up here. Okay, whereas there is a water leak in a private service line along the northerly side of Route 3883 located in the town of Pomfret, North End Water District, and whereas the Section 13 of the agreement between the town of Pomfret and the Village of Fredonia dated July 27, 2012, for the North End Water District provides that the town of Pomfret is to take all the necessary measures to ensure any water breaks in water service lines are promptly repaired. Now therefore be it resolved that the village administrator is hereby authorized to notify the town of Pomfret to repair the water leak as soon as possible.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved in accordance with section 5-5204 of the village law, 2013-14 village budget is hereby amended to provide for the financing of 2 pickup trucks at the Department of the Public Works in the amount not to exceed $40,000 by transferring the sum of $40,000 from the amount previously appropriated for the general capital fund for a patching roller. This is a reappropriation of funds and does not impact the amount originally appropriated for the capital for the fiscal year 2013-2014.
Oh, second, sorry.
All those in favor?
Be it resolved in accordance with section 5-5204 of the village law 2013-14, village budget is hereby amended to provide for the financing of a garage roof at the water treatment plant, replace valves at the Webster Road water storage tank at a cost not to exceed $33,000, and for the south flocculation basin clear well debris removal at a cost not to exceed $13,000 by transferring the sums from the amount previously appropriated in the water capital fund for a generator at Webster Road water tank. This is a reappropriation of funds and does not impact the amount originally appropriated for capital for the fiscal year of 2013 and 14.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right. Whereas the Village of Fredonia has entered into a project development agreement with Wendell Energy Services LLC, herein after referred to as Wendell, pursuant to Section 9 of the New York State Energy Law to develop an energy savings performance contract for the wastewater treatment plant, hereinafter referred to as WWTP, executed by the village on September 9, 2013, pursuant to a resolution of the village board adopted on August 6, 2013, and whereas part of the improvement to the WWT improves replacing the bar screen. And whereas Wendell has requested that the village approve a project expenditure in the amount of $175,000, so that Wendell may contract with Coaster Associates of Canastota, New York, for the purchase of bar screen equipment, and whereas the village has adopted the required board anticipation note resolution on September 23, 2013 for financing the purchase of the bar screening equipment, whereas the chief operator of the wastewater treatment plant has reviewed the bar screening specifications and approved the specifications with changes made by the chief operator. Now therefore it be resolved that the project expenditure approval from form submitted to the village for the project is hereby approved, and the mayor is hereby authorized to sign the project expenditure approval form on behalf of the village of Fredonia and forward it to Wendell.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be it resolved that Charles LaBarbera Angola is hereby hired as interim code enforcement officer, AKA Chief Inspection Officer, at an hourly rate of pay of $30 with no other benefits, effective October 10, 2013, subject to civil service rules and regulations.
I'm gonna abstain from this. I'm just not comfortable with this.
I'm sorry, second. And that was read interim part-time? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, second.
Unless you have a direct conflict, Mark, I don't think you can abstain, so it's either yes or no.
No, I don't like the way this was all started.
I mean, you
I
could
think
say
I-
no if you want, but you
I'll
can't
say no.
abstain because there's no direct, am I correct?
You should
Right,
vote on it.
right.
unless there's
Yeah.
a-
So unless you have a direct conflict with Charles, you have to either say yes or no.
I'll
So,
say no.
okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
3, 4, and 1 against.
Be it resolved that Village Hall offices will be closed the day after Thanksgiving, Friday, November 29, 2013, and that each village employee will use a personal vacation day.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved, the training request of Richard R. St. George, Village Administrator, to attend the Health Insurance and Affordable Care Act in Orchard Park, New York, on Friday, October 25th, 2013, is hereby approved at a cost not to exceed $35 plus travel. This conference is sponsored by the New York State Conference of Mayors.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Therefore, a report of unpaid village taxes for fiscal year July 1st, 2013 through May 31st, 2014 has been prepared by the receiver of taxes of the Village of Fredonia, Lori M. Richardson, and whereas the Board of Directors have examined the list of unpaid taxes with penalties totaling $126,372.47 and found the same to be correct. Now therefore be it resolved that the that the Board of Trustees is hereby authorized to sign a collector's report of unpaid village taxes, which is to be submitted to the Chautauqua County Department of Finance in Mayville, New York.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Whereas the proposed agreement dated October 8th, 2013, between the Village of Fredonia and the Fredonia Rotary Club regarding proposed improvements to the Fredonia gazebo in West Barker Common to be made by the Fredonia Rotary Club as a donation to the village and has been presented to this board. And whereas this board has approved the proposed improvements at its meeting on August 26, 2013, which are as follows. 1, construction of a new roof. 2, new electrical system with new lighting. 3, repairs to existing woodwork. 4, painting of the entire gazebo. 5, installing a suitable and appropriate plaque recognizing the club's donation to the village of the improvements to the gazebo. And whereas the Rotary Club has signed the agreement and provided the necessary insurance certificate, now therefore be it resolved that said agreement is hereby approved and the mayor is hereby authorized to sign said agreement on behalf of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Moved.
Okay. Whereas the United States Army Corps of Engineers has prepared plans for the Section 14 Stream Bank Erosion Protection Project, Canada Way Creek, located in the town of Dunkirk, New York, for the purpose of preventing erosion and possible collapse of the Village of Fredonia sewer main due to erosion, and whereas the Corps of Engineers has provided a real estate drawing of the location of the area for construction dated July 2013, and whereas the Corps of Engineers requests the village grant an authorization for entry for construction and the attorney's certificate of authorization and attorney's certificate as to ownership of the land where construction will take place. And whereas the project is to be constructed entirely on lands owned by the Village of Fredonia, and more particularly designated on the Chautauqua County tax map for the town of Dunkirk as Section 95.02, Block 1, Lot 43, and whereas the village desires to cooperate with the Corps of Engineers and to complete this project at the earliest possible date, now therefore be it resolved that the Corps of Engineers is hereby authorized to enter the premises for construction as shown on the drawing titled Stream Bank Erosion Project, dated July 2013, and set forth in the plans and specification prepared by the Corps of Engineers. And be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign an authorization for entry for construction, and the village attorney is also hereby authorized to sign an attorney certificate as to authorization for entry for construction, stating the village has ownership of the premises for the project and authority to grant permission to the United States of America and the government contractors to enter the village lands for the project, and also to sign an attorney certificate of authority regarding the village's authority to grant authorization for entry for construction. And be it further resolved that the village attorney is authorized to send to the Corps of Engineers a copy of the deed to said lands owned by the village of Fredonia, which is dated June 11th, 1981, and recorded in the Chautauqua County Clerk's Office in Liver 1900 of deeds at page 274. And it is further resolved that the mayor is authorized to send a copy of this resolution to the town of Dunkirk, together with a copy of the plan prepared by the Corps of Engineers.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Be it resolved that the village place a publicity announcement in the Chautauqua County Travel Guide promoting the village of Fredonia at a cost not to exceed $303.75.
All those in favor?
Whereas the fire protection district contract between the village and the town expires December 31st, 2013, and whereas the charge for fire protection services shall be based on the amount of the assessed valuation of the town outside of the village, bears to the assessed valuation of the village property, be it resolved that the mayor is authorized to write a letter of intent to the town of Pomfret supervisor and town board to the effect that the village is willing to provide fire protection and emergency service to the Pomfret Fire Protection District under the same terms as the existing contract between the town and the village for a 2-year term commencing January 1st, 2014 and ending December 31st, 2015, and the compensation to be paid by the town to the village for the first year will be $420,000 payable $357,000 on March 1st, 2014, and $63,000 on August 1st, 2014, and $425,000 for the second year shall be payable $360,000 on March 1st, 2015, and $65,000 on August 1st, 2015. And be it resolved that the village board requests a response from the town of Pomfret board by November 30th, 2013. Be it further resolved that the contract shall be subject to the approval of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Do we have anything else for the
Good of the
board?
order?
Good of the order? Anything else?
All right, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? So we're adjourned.